This is the sinister room in the Haunted Objects Museum. We have Scarlet the doll there, it's said to swear. It's been on some programmes that you might have seen, some paranormal programmes. All of these things have been donated because it's said that they have some form of attachment that haunts the place. Now this painting, the painting came from an abbey that was made in the film. It was made for the film. Is it Friday? What does it say there? Finders Keepers in 2018. All of the film crew and the staff became ill, and they wouldn't work with the painting again. You can see it there in the setting, and that's the abbey itself. We've got Pendle Hill gear here. Obviously you have the rooms. Lots of other objects and paintings that are quite sinister. This one here, I think it just looks at you no matter where you go. Quite evil.
Okay, this is called the Bad Luck Wedding Dress, and the story behind it, I want to sum it up real quick, is this dress was worn, passed on to her daughter Evelyn Van Horn, and this was originally Marie Green's wedding dress until she passed away. But the short story is this was put away, not worn for many years. In 1949, Van Horn Buck wore the dress for a historical tour she was giving. The next day, she became ill, bedridden, and for more than a month, she recovered, but her illness remained a mystery to the doctors. The dress has never been worn again. And there it is. And I have no doubt that there'll probably be some energy attached to this. And there's a picture right there. And mysterious illness, man, there it is. Wow. Like the ghost town in this place, tell you what.
My dog was sniffing something in the backyard.
So today I'm at our Haunted Objects Museum and I'm going to show you around, show you some of the rooms and some of the objects here. Okay, first in the cellar. Now quite a few mediums have been here and told us, sadly, there is dogs or cats, some sort of spirit animal buried right there. We've got a few items here. We've got this a rare, very rare voodoo doll sent to us by a witch. We have the coffin, obviously not real. This, the Dibbit box, the Devil's Toy box, another voodoo doll, a bell, and lots of crazy objects. I'll tell you the story of some of these items.
I bought some haunted pictures, and a lot of you had interest in the encyclopedia that came with it. It is the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Demonology. Not sure if she was trying to give me a hint by giving me the book, but I thought I'd show it to you all. It's a really fragile vintage copy from a public library in Florida. There's a handwritten call number. Even though it's mass produced, there's still a lot we can learn. For example, this page is leaked, and it talks about some French witchcraft. There's lots of photos. It also talks heavily about possessions, and it has a lot of replications of antique documents and images. You got your classic torture chapter, little on the succubus, oh that's risque, spectral evidence, witchcraft in Spain. It's a really awesome book. You'll probably get one on eBay. Yeah, and relations with the devil, sexual relationships with the devil. Some more on demonology, our favorite. Right? Because when we buy something, we want to hear about demonology in it.
Or we investigate haunted objects in the Creeper Gallery or anywhere else. You do see all the equipment around the actual object. In this case, it is an urn with ashes in it that belong to a woman who was murdered. We have to measure any changes in and around the object, so that's why you see all the equipment around it. Things that react to energy, a burst of energy, EMF, up here around the object as well. Here, there are things that you can touch and that will light up that have the words yes and no on them. There are things that react to static electricity because people believe that when a spirit is going to manifest, that they create a static discharge. We also try ITC, which would be your spirit box that you've seen on TV, and the one that we always hope for is EVP with electronic digital recorder. We hope to capture the voice of the person that is attached to the object so we can hear in their own words whatever they want to tell us. So these are the things that we use along with whatever personal experiences we have to document our findings when it comes to investigating haunted objects.
I am hoping I can record this right. My name's Kane and I collect haunted objects, but I'm a firm believer that if you collect haunted objects, you have to respect the spirits that are attached to them. Because of that, a couple people call my haunted objects collection the retirement home for haunted objects, because I buy them things to play with and I buy them things that they ask for. So last night, while we were trying to reorganize things, we noticed that they were playing with the new touch balls that we got them, and so here are some clips from it. There you go.
I have to wait no on the internet. Well, hello, ladies. How are you doing, Linda? She's like, here you go. Take a picture. I know you guys like crackers. You guys play with crackers a lot, huh? Oh my god, that was a clear no. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne. She said you wanted to see the ball again? She said she wanted the ball again.
This is La Casa de Kilómetro 5, and it's supposedly the most haunted location in the Dominican Republic. And that's saying a lot because the DR has a lot of haunted locations. So this story goes back to 1924 when the president of the Dominican Republic, Horacio Vasquez, and his wife bought some land. The land he ended up buying was located between Santo Domingo, the capital, and another town called La Vega. He ended up giving the piece of land to a man that worked for him and who had helped him be elected as president, and this person was called Antonio Paria. So Antonio graciously takes this house, but that wasn't enough for him. It would turn out that Antonio ended up having a 7-year affair with the president's wife. and he wouldn't find out about it until 1930. Because the president was so angry at what had just happened, he ordered Antonio to be arrested, and he also ordered for the house to be burned down. Of course, since he was the president, this wasn't questioned, and the house was burned down, and inside the house were the 3 daughters of Antonio. However, there's a plot twist. This man here, Rafael Trujillo, was a commander of the president, and he was attempting to overthrow the president, and one of his first acts was to free Antonio from prison. This would later turn out to be a huge mistake, but once Antonio was free from prison, he went back to his home and rebuilt as much of it as he could. Then in January of 1931, young girls started going missing in groups of 3, and in total there were 12 girls that went missing. Then later that month, on January 26, 1931, Antonio went to the police station and told them something very shocking. He literally tells police, "I have completed the task that the devil has given me," and then with a machete proceeded to unalive himself. When police went to go look at Antonio's home, they discovered the 12 bodies of the missing girls. Ever since then, the house has remained abandoned and has become a very big paranormal hotspot. A lot of people say that the house is definitely cursed and witchcraft has definitely been practiced inside of it. Anyone who goes to the house to explore it out of curiosity always says that they hear footsteps and odd voices and shadows. Some people even say that they've heard the screams of the girls that passed away inside the house. And there's even a well located near the house that's said to be home to something extremely evil. Let me know what you guys think.
Scary things caught on camera. 2 girls are eating dinner while her mother happily watches. Everything seems to be going well when one of the girls notices something in the other room and runs out scared away. No one else sees anything, so they continue eating. Her sister tries to calm her down, but she sees something again and starts to cry out of fear. She then stands up, not being able to be near whatever it is that she sees, and runs to her mom for protection. Her sister is laughing hysterically at all this, but then she turns around and sees it for herself.
Look at me. What's the matter?
The reason I had to move out of my flat.
Everyone beware, because this is a new kidnapping technique. Watch the video and I'll explain after. According to the men, there was a woman walking down the street, calmly, just screaming. She was screaming and crying and asking for help, but was very calm. When the guys left, they saw her just get into a car and they drove off. The guys went inside because they knew it was a setup. If they went to go help that woman, the car would have been right there and would have gotten the guys. Or mugged them, I don't know. Please stay safe out there. This is so.
This is why you should never play hide and seek. A mom decided to play hide and seek with her 2 kids. The mom began counting, ready or not, here I come. She begins searching the downstairs kitchen because she knows that they hide there every single time. As she's walking to the kitchen, she starts saying, I wonder where they are. She looks under the table and sees they aren't there, which is kind of odd. She knew they were too scared to go into the basement alone, but she decided to check anyway. They weren't there either. She began to panic. The mom then says, Jordan, Casey, come out now, mommy's not playing anymore. There was no answer. Panic really begins to set in. She decides to call 911 and reaches an operator. She tells the operator what's wrong and the operator sends an officer to her house. Once the officer arrives, he says, don't worry, we will find them. As she's sitting in the living room, she hears giggling and laughing and hears a closet door slam upstairs. She sprints upstairs and says, Jordan, Casey, you worry me sick. She opened the closet door and nobody was there. While all of this is going on, she hears the doorbell ring. She runs downstairs and finds the officer holding Jordan and Casey. The officer says they were hiding in the shed out back. Then Jordan looks at mommy and says, why were you telling us to stay in?
Terrifying last words people said right before passing away. An ER physician says he's heard many last words before, but this one was the most terrifying. There was a man who was taking his last breath as he succumbed to renal failure. And right before he passed away, he said, I see a bright light, horses, no eyes. Then he started screaming, no, no, no. And as he yelled, he suddenly woke up, looked up towards the ceiling, and with his last breath said, I understand. Then right after, he passed away. According to this ER physician, this could be provoked by certain neurotransmitters during organ failure. But sometimes he still thinks that maybe that patient saw more than we're led to believe.
People are convinced that this guy encountered a skinwalker. Take a listen.
Yo, what the
This is what they meant when they said, don't talk to strangers. In the early 1900s, a 10-year-old boy was playing in the woods when a tall man appeared and asked if he wanted to come back to his cabin for dinner. Totally caught off guard, the boy reluctantly agrees and begins walking. When they get to the cabin, the boy is relieved when he sees Paul, a family friend, sitting on the porch, so the boy happily goes inside. After they eat, the boy says thank you to the strange tall man, says bye to Paul, and then he leaves. He had only walked a few steps when he sees his family, along with Paul, running up the path towards him, frantically asking if he was okay. Confused, the boy says, I'm just fine, and he looks at Paul and he's like, why didn't you tell them I was with you at the cabin? And he points over his shoulder. Paul glances over the boy's shoulder and then narrows his eyes and says, you were kidnapped by a cult 3 days ago. No one's seen you. Terrified, the boy turns around to look at the cabin he just came from, and it's gone. All he sees is a dark forest that stretches for miles.